So without further ado, let me bring up a good friend of mine. This is one of the funnest parts of this job, is when I get to pick a couple of faculty members to come and talk to you about teaching. And so this year I'm able to bring up a good friend, Kyle Volk, from the history department. He's known across campus as a really amazing teacher, engaging. He teaches very big classes very well, and that's one of the things he's well known for. Of course, the topic gives him an advantage. One of his biggest classes called Intoxication Nation, Alcohol in American Life? Yeah, Alcohol in American Life. So without further ado, Kyle Volk.
Thank you. How you guys doing? We awake? Mildly? Yeah? All right. Ashby, thanks. Much appreciated. Glad to be here. I wanted to just welcome you guys to the University of Montana and congratulate you on starting a new stage of your intellectual journey. And again, I'm happy to be here today because I think what you guys are about to do is absolutely vital for this school, for this institution. Frankly, this university does not run without its graduate students. Most all of you will be on the front lines of undergraduate education, working in some capacity often in our cornerstone general education classes, and especially for first year and second year undergraduates, you are very much going to be the face of this university to them. And we depend on you to be that face, to personalize this university for undergraduates, to keep our students interested, to challenge them, to inspire them, and bluntly, to keep them coming back next semester. And if you don't know already, you'll find out very quickly around here that bringing students back next semester is what keeps the lights on and what keeps our paychecks from bouncing. So I can't think of anything more important than the work you guys are about to do. Ashby has given me carte blanche, which is dangerous for me, but he said I can talk about really whatever I want to talk about that pertains to teaching. And I'm happy to be brief today because we can talk all we want about teaching. We can theorize about the best pedagogical practices. We can share with each other the latest trends and educational gimmicks. We can do all of that, and some of them might work quite well. But at the end of the day, I think teaching is about doing. It's about practice. It's about experimentation, trial and error. It's about revision. Teaching necessarily changes over time because students change, classrooms change, technology changes, and most importantly, because we change. Which is to say that teaching is deeply personal. It's personal to me. And we're all going to and should approach the challenge differently. And you should bring as much as you can what is unique about yourself to your teaching. All that said, I want to talk briefly about two things, passion and anxiety. Because when I was thrown into the classroom as a 21-year-old some years ago, I remember feeling both emotions, passion and absolute excitement for what I was about to do, and at the same time, quite a bit of anxiety, trepidation, and the fear of failure. But more than just kind of early career feelings, I've come over time to see both passion and anxiety as two essential components of good teaching. So let me say something first about passion, which is perhaps the more predictable ingredient of the educational enterprise, because it's hard for me to imagine good teaching and inspirational work with students without instructors bringing their passions to the enterprise. Historians, which I am, we like to talk about subtopics in threes, so bear with me, that's what I'm about to do. So first, passion for your subject matter, for your discipline, your enthusiasm for the material, for what you're teaching, and why you think it's so compelling and important. That very excitement should always be at the forefront of your work in the classroom. Let students in. Let them see why you relish the joy of discovery and why you celebrate the life of the mind, which I hope you do. Let your intellectual commitments and your fascination with the biggest of questions, let all of these things be as alive and as fun as humanly possible. And let all of this be contagious, We want our students, our undergraduates, really to catch the bug and to take their first steps towards becoming scholars. That's the first thing. Second thing I'd say in terms of passion is passion for the students themselves, which is to say passion for humanity. And I'm assuming, and I'm hopeful, that part of what drew you here today is because you enjoy working with others. Let's hope that's the case. As much as you can, get to know your students, learn their names, of course, but also learn what they're about. Engage with them, ask them questions, truly listen to what they have to say, care about them, treat them fairly, treat them justly, treat them with respect. It's been my experience, especially here at the University of Montana, that most of our students respond quite well to this. And importantly, if you do that, you treat them that way, they're going to treat you with the respect that you most certainly deserve. Related to this, I would say, humanize yourself as much as possible. I think setting boundaries between yourselves and your students is very important. But my suggestion is not to set those boundaries too high or too rigidly such that you become someone else or something other than your genuine self, which is to say, approach interactions with students with professionalism, but don't overdo it. Be wary and deconstruct whenever possible the hyper-performance of professionalism. So be a professional, but perhaps more importantly, be an approachable, relatable human being and not some caricature of a distant, elevated academic. So third thing, passion, just passion for yourself. Now let me say at the outset that when I say passion for yourself, this is not a plea for the narcissism, the self-absorption, and the egoism that's too often to be found in academic life. Instead, what I mean by this is you fundamentally have to take care of yourself as you're going to do what you're going to do this year. So I want you to do the best possible job you can as educators here at the University of Montana. But recognize this, you're not teachers. You are scholars and researchers and fundamentally graduate students pursuing advanced degrees. Meaning teaching is only one part of what you're doing here. And it is, of course, a very, very important part. But teaching cannot be your top priority. Your own academic work must be and should be your priority. The challenge is, and it's a challenge for many of us, the challenge is to figure out a way to do the best possible job in the classroom while setting reasonable boundaries, healthy limits on time you spend on your teaching and engaging with students. And admittedly, this is not something that I'm particularly good at, so I'm preaching from failure yet again. I encourage you all to do better than me so that you leave here as a successful student, you leave here as successful as you want to be as a student. Also, I think taking care of yourself means kind of more mundane but yet more vital things that we might just call wellness. And here I'm going to echo some of the earlier comments from the Curri Health Center. And I can speak from experience here. My first year of teaching here at was a personal health disaster. I stopped exercising because I didn't think I could afford to take the time to do that. Exercise seemed like a luxury. I was engaging in rampant stress eating, and I personally wasn't happy with the results, and I'll just leave it to your imagination. So eat well, make time for exercise or other forms of self-care, be mindful of alcohol and substance use, find healthy ways to manage the stress that's going to be inevitable as you become a graduate student and educator here at and with all seriousness, and I always say this to my graduate students, if you're new to town, find a doctor, and especially find a dentist. And don't let these everyday aspects of self-care go by the wayside. I've seen too many graduate students do this, put this off, and trust me when I say it costs them more time and money and pain, frankly, down the road. So please take care of yourselves this year. Let me say something about anxiety, because I think it's something that most academics deal with, and especially when it comes to work in the classroom. If you're feeling at all anxious right now, know that that is completely normal. Teaching is performance. Teaching is constant deadlines. It's seemingly never-ending deadlines. Teaching is inescapable pressure, and it's dealing with an audience that has the potential to be in different moods and different frames of mind every day you walk into the classroom. This is a challenge. It's an amazing challenge, actually, but it's a challenge. It's a challenge nonetheless. And that's why every August, like clockwork, I start having dreams about showing up on the first day of class without the syllabus and finding that every printer on campus is broken. This happens every year, no matter what. And I've been doing this for 20 years. And certainly the levels of anxiety and stress have changed, but they have yet to disappear, and I doubt they ever will. And some of that, of course, is my own personal wiring, no doubt about that. But I think another part is about caring about your students and caring deeply about what you do in the classroom. And some of it is also about the nature of teaching itself. You're not always going to win at this game. Classes are rarely perfect. You can't know everything. You can't have the answer to every question. There are going to be days when those discussion sections just don't go well. It's almost inevitable. But all of that's okay, because perfection is not what's expected of you. My suggestion is to turn all of the inevitable anxieties into inspiration. Turn anxiety into a commitment to work harder and prepare better, certainly, but also use anxiety as inspiration to bring students more fully into the educational process. When, for example, questions come up that you don't know the answer, never make something up, never lie. Own your ignorance at that moment and tell them you'll find the answer and get back to them. In other words, model the process of intellectual inquiry and discovery. Or better yet, ask the students if they're willing to track down the answers, and if appropriate, reward them. In other words, let your anxieties be a source of strength and use them to, in certain ways, democratize knowledge and open up the academy, and to make students feel that they are truly at the core of this university, and not only in the stands at Grizzly Stadium, but in every classroom and every office on campus. We end here by saying just a few things. Graduate school and teaching are communal and not individualistic enterprises, so help each other, share so-called tricks of the trade, tell each other of your successes and about the things also that didn't go so well. So learn from each other as well as your instructors, and enjoy the process along the way as much as you can. And finally, know that LA 260 is my office, and I'm more than eager to chat with any of you one-on-one and be another resource for you here on campus. I wish you the absolute best of luck this year. Thank you for doing what you do.